The Rake, a creature that has been lurking around the internet for ages. It may even shock you to know that the Rake has been on the internet even longer than the last subject of this series, Slenderman. The Rake as a monster takes on a very recognisable form, a large humanoid figure that is completely pale. It also seems to crawl on all fours as it seems deformed, and is also equipped with large claws. These features lead some to give the creature the aliases of the Rake, the Naked Man, or the Hairless Dog. In this monster file, we are going to be taking a look at the online origins of the Rake, its powers and appearance, as well as the stories and mythos of the Rake. So let's jump in and discuss the Rake. Like most cryptids of the modern era, the Rake was created on the internet. To be more specific, the identity of the Rake was first created on 4chan's infamous B board, all the way back in late 2005. An anonymous user created a thread saying, "Hey B, let's make a new monster." Initially, the monster designed in this thread was incredibly different, but shared a core idea which evolved slowly throughout the thread. The monster actually shared a lot of features similar to Slenderman. The creature was first described as being a humanoid about 6 feet tall when standing, but usually crouches and walks on all fours. It has very pale skin. The face is blank, as in no nose, no mouth. However, it has 3 solid green eyes, one in the middle of its forehead and the 2 other on either side of its head, facing towards the back. Usually seen in front yards in suburban areas, usually just watches the observer, but will stand up and attack if approached. When it attacks, a mouth opens up as if a hinged skull that opens at the chin, revealing many tiny but dull teeth. But slowly, as the thread proceeded, its appearance became more and more fleshed out. Approximately 6 feet tall, but seen crouching. Humanoid. Pale greyish skin. 2 slightly larger than human eyes. No nose. Mouth is smaller than a human, but when provoked or attacked, opens freely on a hinge down to the neckline, showing hundreds of dull but not blunt teeth. Unknown origin. Unknown diet. Seen in suburban areas. Opens its mouth and widens its eyes when provoked. Attacks when approached. If not provoked or approached, just stares. Then, people who liked the concept of this monster started to write their own stories about it, the first of which appearing on the Something Awful forums back in 2006. Quite similar to Slenderman, yet again. In the Something Awful forums, people began to write the Rake mythology, stating that people have been spotting this creature all over America since the 12th century, but recorded and documented sightings have only been recorded since the late 1600s. The creature also apparently caused some media interest in sightings back in 2003, but in recent times, most written accounts of the creature have mysteriously vanished. Between 2008 and 2010, these fictitious fan-made tales began to do their rounds all over the internet. After the lore of the Rake was more concrete and focused, the story of the Rake made its way back to 4chan, but this time on its paranormal board, as well as LiveJournal, an older social networking site, as well as returning back to the Something Awful forum. My favourite part about the Rake's story is linked to this image. This image circulated all over the internet and even ended up on a news channel. Since this figure shares the same features of the Rake, people who were fans of this creature said that it was in fact the Rake, and had some people believing the image was real. And as a result of that, people believed the Rake was real. But the reason that I love this image so much is that it comes from promotional material for a live action trailer to promote the PS3 game Resistance 3. But an anonymous person sent it to a news station claiming it to be real, and for some reason the news station ran the story, and it caused the Rake to be even more well known, but also made its origins even more draped in mystery. Let's move on to some of the other things that helped the Rake's name grow a bit more. Just like in the case of Slenderman, ARG web series can really help an internet cryptid grow, as seen with the Rake and Everyman Hybrid. Yet again, I can't recommend this series enough, just like Marble Hornets. Anyway, Everyman Hybrid is a story following 3 main characters, but the plot of EMH isn't really the focus of this video, so I'll focus on the Rake's part in Everyman Hybrid. In the story, the Rake acts as a hunting dog for Slenderman / the Operator, killing and chasing people down, whoever Slenderman wishes. This, yet again, helped the legend of the Rake grow further, despite in the grand scheme of things, the Rake in Everyman Hybrid has a rather small part in the plot. As Everyman Hybrid grew quite popular for an ARG, the version of the Rake people most associate with the creature is EMH's version of the Rake. But despite that, let's try and get an understanding of what the Rake actually was in all of its forms, be it in film or in writing. Let's talk about its more concrete powers and appearance, etc. The Rake is a tall and pale humanoid figure. It either has large white eyes or deep black voids for eyes, depending on who draws or is it portraying the creature. The creature's main feature, however, is its large claws that help it mutilate its targets. The Rake itself is rather sadistic, but not always. It tends to stalk, torture, and then murder its victims, usually in the woods, as written about in the accounts of the creature and seen in Everyman Hybrid. Despite that, it usually simply prances around the forest, but will harm people if it is seen or pictured. If the Rake is seen, it will take your life. Maybe not the day you see it, or maybe not the day after, but eventually. Its personality has similar quirks to the SCP-096, the Shy Guy, as well as showing a very similar appearance. Perhaps the two are inspired by each other, but I digress. Since Everyman Hybrid ended, the infamy of the Rake died online and was only heard of through creepypastas. The only time the Rake was spoken about was when someone was reading it from a story. That was the case for a long time, yet again, just like Slenderman. Some corporations tried to get a hold on the Rake mythos and attempted to make a movie about the Rake. And the movie is laughably bad. It's a rip-off of the Slenderman movie that was released the same year. In my opinion, since the thing that grew the Rake's popularity the most was his ties to Slenderman in Everyman Hybrid, it caused people to write stories that intrinsically linked to the two, causing the two stories to become intertwined. So the two shared a fan base. And similar to how over time there were lulls in the popularity of Slenderman, the Rake suffered the same way. But since the Rake, despite being older than Slenderman, never reached the cultural highs of the Slenderman, it was forgotten faster. Now if you say Slenderman, people will know what you're referring to, but they won't be scared. If you mention the Rake, most people will look at you in confusion. The legend of the Rake is dead, but for different reasons than Slenderman. Due to it associating with Slenderman, but not being as popular, people were less aware of the Rake, and so when Slenderman began to fall into mediocrity, people had already forgotten the Rake had even existed. The Rake fell into obscurity because it never got the chance to become really popular, and as a result, never got the big media boom that Slender did. It never got big budget movies or games. It just simply turned to dust. Thanks for watching. Please let me know what you thought of the video, as well as tell me who you think I should cover next. Also, the channel just got 1,000 subs last week, and I want to do something special to celebrate, but I don't know what. So if you've got any ideas, please feel free to let me know. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, etc. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Toodles, my doodles. Peace.